A new study. We've all heard those words 1,000 times in our lives.
A new study finds
A new study.
A recent study.
Well, a new study.
It's a great attention grabber. Whether it's on your favorite news program or your Reddit feed, it makes you stop and pay attention. You start to listen to what your trusted morning show has to tell you about what your dog may be learning from you. This could be really important. Do you have a dog? Your dog has a butthole. This story really pertains to you. You listen intently. The anchor throws to the resident science expert. You know this person. They're really good at explaining complicated science stuff in a way that's easy to understand. When they're done talking, you feel confident about yourself. You now know something you didn't know before. You're a little smarter now, and you're ready to use your newfound knowledge to build a better relationship with your dog and its butthole. Okay, I'm sorry, but I gotta address this. How the hell does this happen? This is CBS News, and for a full 15 seconds they have this woman on air standing next to a giant screen with a dog's butthole on it. How did no one notice this? So many people had to review this footage, but at no point did anyone say, hey, maybe we should have put a giant video of a dog's butthole next to our anchor? Anyway, armed with your new knowledge of your dog and, canine anatomy, you go to work the next day, and you're sitting in the break room with your workplace proximity associate. You mention you're trying to be more considerate about how you talk around your dog because you saw this new study on TV. They saw that study too. You start to talk about the new study and share your new knowledge about your dogs with one another. When the conversation ends, you both leave more secure in your knowledge of your dogs. This pattern continues with other acquaintances. Your mom, your siblings, your dog groomer. One day you're scrolling Reddit and you see the same study. The comments are all talking about how their neighbor's dog was always suspicious to them. How they're not surprised because they had the same breed of dog and they were extremely smart. The entire thread is about people sharing stories about their super smart dogs. A lot of us are familiar with this kind of feedback loop. Most of the time we don't even notice it happening. A lot of you listening right now probably think humans only use 10% of our brains. But that's not true. In the 1890s, psychologist William James said that humans only made a fraction of their full mental potential. In 1936, broadcaster Lowell Thomas wrote, Professor William James of Harvard used to say that the average man develops only 10% of his latent mental ability. And in 2014, Scarlett Johansson does whatever the fuck this is. The point is, we have all heard that line so many times that it starts to feel true. We repeat it subconsciously, and it becomes so ingrained in us that we start to accept it as a fact. When an idea gets its claws into us that deep, it is extremely difficult to change our minds about it. To be clear, I'm not making any kind of comment on the validity of the studies and the videos. They're just examples of the way the media presents science to the public. It's important to remember the role the media plays in our society. Their purpose is to make money. They make money by being entertaining, and sensationalism is entertaining. That's not to say they're doing it intentionally. They're human beings who are just as susceptible to this form of sensationalism as anyone else. Most of them are probably going through the same feedback loop I mentioned before. So, that brings us to the question, how do we stop ourselves from getting caught up in this kind of sensationalism and hype? There's one simple phrase that can help you with that. One study is not proof. That's it. Whenever you read those headlines or see it on TV, remind yourself, one study is not proof. One of the most important aspects of science is repeatability. Scientists will run the same tests over and over again to account for different variables that can affect the outcome. Another important step is peer review. Every study has to hold up to critique by other scientists in the field in order to have credibility as a valid study. The reporting on these studies doesn't tell you if it's held up well in peer review, or if it's even been through peer review yet. They don't tell you if it's repeated from an earlier study or if it's new research. They don't tell you if it's consistent with other research that's been done in that area. They don't even tell you about any conflicts of interest that may have affected the outcome of the study. The reason they don't tell you those things is because those things are boring. But that's where the science is. It's not in the snappy headline, it's in the details, the repetition, the monotony. That is where the science is, and that is where the truth is. Okay, I still can't move past this. This woman is the lead scientist on this study. She is on national news presenting what could be her life's work, and she is sharing the screen with a dog's asshole. For fuck's sake.